Welcome to the Motivational Medium podcast. I'm Anne-Marie Lord, a psychic medium, author, and the founder of the Motivational Medium Academy. On this podcast, we'll explore intriguing topics such as mediumship, psychic abilities, and the amazing idea that we all have intuition within us. Whether you're a believer, skeptic, or somewhere in between, get ready to unlock your extraordinary potential as we discover the supernatural world together. If you want your questions featured on the show, be sure to join my tribe by subscribing to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Let's go. I'm so excited today, guys. I have got my beautiful friend, Sarah Lightbeam. I love the name. Just totally encompasses who she is. She's beautiful. I actually go to her lovely breathing sessions, but I've got her on today and we're going to talk all things spiritual. I'll let her speak about where we met and what the journey is about. And we're also going to talk about breathwork. If you've never heard of breathwork, I had not heard of breathwork. And I just turned up at one of Sarah's sessions because I love her so much. And she's such a beautiful soul. And I was blown away, and I am now a breathwork junkie. It's my little gift to myself that I do. I turn up, and when I get me days off that day and I turn up and I go and I just absolutely love it. And I'll let Sarah explain everything. So Sarah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I'm really grateful and honoured to be here and to chat with you. Anytime I get with you is an absolute blessing.
Yeah, we always had so much fun and so many giggles, so that's good. So thank you for coming on. Now, Sarah, please just tell all our listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Sarah. My stage name, Studio Lightbeam. And yeah, I'm a Reiki 3 master, and I am an Access the Bars facilitator and intuitive breath coach. They're my moonlighting jobs. I'm actually a full-time graphic designer as well.
Isn't it funny how we go from one area to the other?
That's the paying job.
Now, you've done your Reiki 1, 2. I think you've done your 3 with me as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had a chance to do the 3 sessions together, which is really, really good. But tell us a little bit about the Access and the Bars. What is that all about? Because I've never heard that before.
Access of the bars is accessing a number of points in the head. And when we release those, it's all connected all throughout the body. So it's connected with if we've got blocks with thoughts and feelings, and we can access those and release them. And so it can be when we're in a negative thought loop. And so when people will come to me, I actually integrate the Access, the bars, and my Reiki. So in the one session, I will run the bars. So that takes about 35 minutes to run all the points in the head. There's points in the hand and the feet. And then I'm also doing the Reiki. So my 90-minute session is a combination of both.
Excellent. So you get 2 for the price of 1, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's almost like, with the Reiki, we're going in and we're giving that internal, beautiful massage and that balance and getting all our chakras spinning and clearing out any energetic blockages. And so then with the Access the Bars, we're going in and we're sorting out our thoughts and being able to set, more positive and clearer intentions when we kind of clear out the junk.
Oh, excellent. Clearing out the junk. I like that. A lot of us have a lot of junk up there that we need to get cleared out. So that's good. So that's interesting. But what I really want to talk about is you and this amazing breath work that you do. I believe, now this is just me, guys. And, if I find something that I really feel into, I want the world to know about it. But I believe that everybody should do this because I didn't have a clue what it was about. Obviously, I'd seen Wim Hof. If you haven't seen him, have a little look at Wim Hof. He's the Iceman who swims in ice water and does cold showers. I've done that. But this doesn't involve getting in cold water. It doesn't involve freezing yourself to death. It's beautiful. I could explain it as like a breathwork meditation. Well, I tell you what, I won't explain it. Let Sarah explain it. I just loved it. So, Sarah, tell us a little bit about this breathwork.
Yeah, amazing. In 2022, I came across Brian Kelly, my now friend and mentor. He created Breath Masters, and I came across Brian and did a couple of his journeys recordings, and the profound and deep healing I received in those journeys just by using my own breath was out of this world. I've been doing talk therapy and all different therapies since I was 18. I'm now 49. And I feel like the journeys that I went on took everything I've learned to date, and then it was like being on steroids. It just catapulted me into a whole nother space where my healing and understanding where my deep pain and wounds was coming from was all of a sudden clear. I could join the dots. And it's almost like for years I would do therapy. I would get to a point and a place where the therapist would say, okay, you're good now. I'm thinking in my head, yeah, nah, am I? Great. Okay, thanks very much. But there was something missing. It's like that jigsaw piece that went under the couch, or, I just couldn't quite feel whole.
Yeah.
And when I did these journeys through my own breath, this activating journey, it's like all of a sudden everything came together, and almost in a way that it was too much to hold at first. Like, oh gosh, what do I do with all this now?
Yeah.
But then the more journeys I did, it was almost like it became palatable. It became, more easily to be able to access. And so in that moment, I thought, I need to share this. I have to be able to share this magic.
Yeah.
And then I kind of had the massive block of being in my own way. So I had this beautiful vision, this thought. I even saw myself in the room I'm now in, holding my sessions. And then I had that beautiful narrative pop in to say, who am I to think I could ever do this? And that old imposter syndrome popped in.
Oh, yeah.
And I have never public spoken. I'm not currently a coach. In my brain, I was like, well, I'm just a mum and I'm a graphic designer, and I've really only been on this Reiki and Access the Bars healing journey for a very short time. And then it was almost like this fire in my belly grew. And it was almost like, I remember Brian saying, you have to make your vision, your why, bigger than your fear. And that fire started to burn. And then it was almost like I had this internal fight going on of this fire saying, it doesn't matter. You don't have to know how you're going to do it. Just start. And my spirit guides go, yeah, listen to that one, because we'll guide you. Just step into the arena and we'll guide you. And then, my self-conscious and all my self-doubts going, yeah, nah, but I don't think that's going to work. Anyway, I ended up doing the 10-week course.
Good on you.
And I had one goal, was to finish it. So my goal was to finish it. And I finished it within the 10 weeks, which is quite an unusual thing for people to actually achieve. And by the time I finished my 10-week course, I had held over 22 breath sessions.
Wow. You well and truly stepped into the arena.
And I really feel that those 22 sessions were done with such ease. It was like I was completely in alignment. I was where I needed to be.
And from experience and you working within that arena and delivering them breath sessions, your voice and the tranquility and the ease with which you take us on that journey is beyond anything I can even speak about. For people that know me, will know I'm a bit of a skeptic, to be quite honest. I'm probably the most skeptic medium you'll ever meet in your life. I'm like, no, I need proof, guys. I need proof. I stepped into that breath work and I was like, oh my God. And we've just spoke a little bit off air before we jumped on for the podcast about the last session that I went to. And that was after me being quite ill from February, and how my conscious and subconscious were having a battle. And I couldn't find a parking space. And I was thinking, oh, yeah, well, I won't find a parking space and I just won't show up. I just won't turn up. I'll message Sarah later and tell her I couldn't get a parking space. And it was like I was looking for an excuse not to do this, because I knew that that day, even though I'd done it before, that day I was letting go of a lot and I felt it. So it's just an amazing experience. It's like you explained to our listeners what you said to me, that you felt like you could see, because you watch us all as we go through this. You have earphones on this journey, and all you can hear is Sarah's voice and this amazing music going through your headset, and you're relaxed, you're lying down, you're warm, you've got your head or your mask on, you got your headset on. And Sarah will explain what you see when you're watching us, because this isn't just about a guided meditation. This is so much more.
Yeah, it is. It's a space that through myself and my guides, we create that safe space for people to literally come and take their armor off and to be safe enough to be vulnerable and to be really uncomfortable at times. It's not an easy walk in the park journey. I never sugarcoat it, because I feel like there is so much power in being uncomfortable.
Yes.
To be able to receive the growth. But what I saw with you in particular was on your health journey there for that time, was when you were starting to come out of it. And it was amazing that you were sharing your journey. I really think there was a lot of authenticity in that. And I'm grateful you were able to share your vulnerability through that.
Yeah, thank you.
But what I could see through you was a lot of sadness and a real disconnect to your body. It felt like I could see you were very disappointed with your body that it let you down. Like, why now? What have I done for you to let me down now? And so that when I knew you were coming to the session and I almost tapped in, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be big, because my sessions, the way we breathe, and I can get into that, in a moment, but the basics of it is having our mind switch off. And so that we are just allowing the body to express itself somatically.
Yeah.
And so our conscious brain is switched off. But in a sense, we have a moment where we have a deep mind-body connection. And that's what I could see you were lacking in that moment of illness. And so I knew that when you came to my session that day and you were able to reconnect, you were able to allow the body to express how it felt about being ill.
Yeah.
And then for you then to be in that space where you could hear your guides, receive messages. I was so excited. And as I saw the clock ticking by, I thought, oh yeah, okay, we've got some resistance here. Bring it on. Because in all honesty, if you'd messaged me while you were looking for a park, I would have said, park your car out the front. You come and lie down. I'll go find you a park. You're not getting out of this one.
Definitely.
When I saw you walk in comparison to the time before where you just had no expectation and pure excitement. And I thought, oh, wow, I love it when I see people's excitement. They have no idea what they're about to be doing. Second time is always very different. There's a slight apprehension of what will unravel today.
That's it. That's it, totally.
When you came in this second time, you were not as open as before. And I always don't make as much fuss.
Yeah.
I just allow you to come in, give you a hug, say, you'll be fine. I've got you.
Yeah.
And then allow you to have your session. But as I could see you coming in, it was all sitting around your chest and your body was almost saying, let me at it. I want this monkey off my back. I want this 10-ton slab of cement off my back. I just want to release. I want to have my listening ears back. I want to be connected.
Yes, 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 and yes.
And so watching you in your session, and we had decided that you wouldn't do the activating breath, that you would just do the parasympathetic breathing, and which is absolutely fine, full permission. And I said to you, you will still receive and you will still be activated exactly in the way you need to be. Often for people, it's the showing up that's the hardest. Once you're there, you don't have any choice but to receive. It's pretty special.
It's hugely special.
Yeah. As I watched you releasing that day, it was a beautiful process to watch. I don't think I've guided a session yet where I haven't had tears myself. Watching the process, it's very humbling, but I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel people's pain leaving them. And yeah, I feel incredibly grateful that I feel like in this lifetime, in this incarnation, I've been chosen to be in this position to hold people through their pain.
Definitely. And you're very, very good at it. It's like you have an out of a body experience yourself. You're a very beautiful soul anyway. But when I hear your voice come through them headphones, it's like you've gone into Sarah Lightbeam. It's like you've gone into a totally different person. You're channeling what you see in front of you and what you need. These people need. It's funny, there's a couple of things I wanted to say when you were talking about that. One of them was the first session. I'm a control freak. When I fly, I like to sit by the window. Maybe I think I'm flying the plane. I don't know. But I'm very much a control freak. I need to be in control of everything. And a couple of things that have happened along this journey with you, for me, as being the first time I showed up, I was like, yeah, I'll keep control of this. And, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll be all right. And at the end on that release, I still had control. And you said to me at the end of it, there's still a little bit of work there. And, and you smiled at me and I didn't actually understand what you meant at the time. And then when I came that second time, I was in a whole different place. But I still had Anne-Marie in there. I still had that control person. And we talked about the breath. We talked about the trying to not find a car parking space. I was still trying to control this so that I would be either could run away or I could stay in control. And halfway through that breath session, we talked about doing a different breath work. And then halfway through that breath session, I felt myself going fully into that, release control. And that's when the release of control started for me. It was, we'll breathe this certain way because Sarah said it's okay to breathe this certain way. And then I just felt like, no, we've got to fully submerge. And I absolutely just let go. And I think first time since I can remember, I felt hugely vulnerable. We all feel vulnerable all the time or certain times, but I think I allowed myself to feel that vulnerability. I let go of that control. So that's why I said to you earlier on, I was in tears. I felt my whole body was vibrating. I didn't know what was going on, but it was amazing release, an amazing connection. And I believe that everybody should experience this. We all have stuff that we keep in here that we push down. Like, I'm not saying I'm cured. I'm saying I'm open. My eyes are open. And I want to go back and do more on this journey because there's lots of other stuff that I need to do and I want to do. And to release the heavy blocks that keep us from doing it is massive. Absolutely massive. So
yeah.
I know I say this all the time. You are amazing at what you do. And to stand there and help people release blocks, release control, and watch that happen. As I said to you, I'm the biggest skeptic. And I felt that for myself. And that's why I wanted you on this podcast, because I've experienced what this session and what you do is all about. And it's amazing. I want the whole world to do it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the more you do it as well, Anne-Marie, the less control, it's almost the less control you will bring in each time.
Yeah.
And the more comfortable you will be with being uncomfortable. So then you get into the process quicker.
Yeah.
And we leave this behind. When you can start to be able to come and do sessions like that and you get into the sweet spot quite quickly, where you are just submerged in the subconscious.
Yeah.
That's where I want to live permanently. I mean, I know it's not realistic, but there is no ego. There is no monkey mind. There's no to-do list. It's like you are suspended in a moment in time where it is just you. I did a breathwork journey myself with a beautiful friend in Bali over Zoom, and I was broken down. And after my somatic scream, and then, I was listening for guidance, I actually left my body. And for the first time in my life, I was actually able to see myself.
Wow.
And it was the greatest gift I think I've ever been given, because I've had this disconnection with, I heard you earlier say, you're a beautiful soul. And previously I would say, in my brain, yeah. But in my body, I wouldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Or if someone says you walk into a room and you light it up, your beauty lights the room up, I go, oh, thank you, awkwardly, but I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then when I had this journey last Friday night and I saw what you see,
Yeah.
I feel like I just had the biggest up level I think I'll ever have.
It's fantastic. I just can't explain how amazing that feeling is. I'm so excited to continue this journey, and to, not in a controlling way, which is unusual for me, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, to having that total freedom, as you say, in that suspended state. You hear Joe Dispenza talk about when he does his meditations in space. And it's like, what does that mean in space? But when you feel that guided meditation, what you take us through in that breath work, for that moment before, or is it after you do the scream?
It's after the scream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That space is, it's unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
It's where you can achieve and where you can be and do you. It's you. It's the proper you. It's amazing.
It is.
Sarah, I always on my podcast love to give something to the listeners, something that they can go away with today. So is there anything that you can give them? I would say, and I'll give all Sarah's details will be on my podcast, will be on my Instagram, Facebook, newsletter. It'll be everywhere. So you can always get in touch and go on these journey for yourself. But I know we've got lots of listeners who are in New Zealand and who are in the US and the UK. Is there anything that you could give them or share with them, something that they can do for themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. And this probably comes back to so much of what I learned with you in the very beginning of stepping into the healing arena was with you. And I think the biggest change I've been able to make has been in the morning before I even swing my legs out of bed, is just to take 10 seconds to take 2 really big, beautiful breaths in from the toes. So just really slow, big, deep breaths in, holding it at the top for a couple, and then just an even bigger exhale. And in my mind, I repeat, just for today, I will not anger, and I've kind of adapted that as I've gone along to what I feel like I need. But I just almost give myself a bit of a promise. Just for today, I'm going to be the best version I can be. And I'm going to love with my whole heart. And, then the kids scream and then this happens and then we get on with our day. But I have been able to maintain that. I've never been able to maintain a self-care practice. That small 2 breaths, one promise to myself. And I've been doing that since I met you in 2021. So it's a game changer.
It sure is. When I wrote the Grateful 3 approach to life, the first chapter is all about the gratitude of a morning, the breaths and the 3 things to be grateful for. But if you can encompass it with something as simple as them 2 breaths, this is why people don't. You've seen me teach and you know that I talk about this. This is why some people do not continue certain journeys, is because it gets too convoluted and too long and too big and no one has that time. The kids are screaming, we have to get the packed lunches done. It all goes haywire very quickly of a morning, especially if you've got young kids. So to keep things simple is the one true way that you will continue that practice. So I love that. So share that with us again. So we just take a big deep breath of a morning.
So I think, before you've turned the alarm off, you just stay where you are, close the eyes back down without falling back to sleep, but just taking 2 breaths. So just imagining from the toes that the breath is coming all the way up the body. And then when it gets to the top, you're just going to hold for like 3 seconds. There's power in that breath hold. Every day we do the breath hold, it's teaching us that we can just stop our thought before we react. And then what we want to do is, after we've held the breath, we want to exhale for longer than the inhale was. Now that will immediately put us into a parasympathetic state. So our nervous system will be waking up calm, not in that fight or flight, ready to go. And, it's almost like once you put your feet back on the floor to start the day, your intention's clear. I got this.
I love that. And it's so simple. So please, guys, do this of a morning. And even, we say 21 days to make a new thought pattern, to create a new habit. So do it for 21 days and just see how you feel. Maybe even write it in a journal, document how you felt before, and then document how you feel afterwards. And let us know. You can contact me or Sarah on Instagram. Sarah's on at Studio Lightbeam on Instagram, and I'm at @AnneMarieLord _ So you can always contact us. One thing I wanted to say is, before we say goodbye to Sarah, and I'm so grateful that you came on the show today and added this journey and spoke to us and gave our listeners something to take away with them. But one thing I wanted to say is, the funny thing that stuck in my mind, when I was sick and I ended up in hospital, there was a nurse who came on duty, and she came in because it all happened really, really quickly, from triage right through to the resus in the emergency department. And it all happened really quickly. And this lady came in and she said, "Hello, I'm going to be looking after you. And my name is Sarah." And I said to her, "I like that name." I said, "That was my mum's name. So this makes me feel quite good." And then she said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I'm going off shift in about 20 minutes. And then she introduced this other lady to me, and this other lady came in and she said to me, "Hi," she said, "I'll be looking after you throughout the night." She said, "My name's Sarah." And I was like, "Okay." And I'm thinking, "Okay, mum, the other girl couldn't stay, but you've got me another one." And this Sarah said to me, the nurse that came in, she said, "My name's Sarah." And then as all the, can we say, shit hit the fan throughout the journey of that night, she put her arm on me and she said to me, "I've got you. And when I came to see you, and your beautiful name is Sarah, like my gorgeous mum, and when I came to see you that last time, and I was so nervous and I was trying to escape, and you said to me, 'It's okay, I've got you.'" And it makes me quite emotional to think about it, because I always say to my listeners and to my clients, watch for your signs. And they were my signs from my mum. And I got to share them with the most beautiful Sarahs in the world. So yeah, watch for your signs, guys. Your loved ones are always with you. And when you think that your life is going a bit belly up, things happen for a reason. I know that's hard for us to comprehend sometimes. I know my illness has happened for a reason. I was on the wrong path. I was going off on a different tangent. I've been well and truly stopped in my tracks, brought back in, and I am so forever grateful for that. I'm still on this journey, but I am still, and I am very, very grateful I got to meet the three Sarahs, and I continue with one of the Sarahs in my life. So this is really good. So watch out for your signs. And Sarah, I am so grateful you came on the podcast today. It's been absolutely lovely. Please tell our listeners where they can contact you and when your next breathwork sessions are going on and what's happening for you.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, my next group breath session is on the 30th of June. So that's a Sunday in Scarborough, 3 till 5 p.m. Doors open at 2:30 for those that can't have trouble finding a park. There's always time. I am open for one-on-one breath, small groups, and my Reiki and access the bars. So I'm open at different times for that. But yes, my next big group session, I would love everyone to come down and step out of their uncomfort zone.
Yeah.
And come get vulnerable with me.
Definitely.
But you can find me at Studio Lightbeam on Instagram, and you can email me at Sarah with a H Wright, WRIGHT 809 at gmail.com. So that's where you can find me.
Fantastic. So Sarah Wright 809 at gmail.com, or you can find Sarah at Studio Lightbeam on Instagram, and you can always inbox her in there as well. If you go onto her Instagram and you see, please go on and like her page, have a look at some of the stuff that she's got going on. She's amazing. You can always have a little look, click the link, and it will take you to a site where you can book in your session. These sessions get booked out quite quick. So if this podcast goes out too late for the one on the 30th, then Sarah has these every single month. Sarah, when's the next one after the 30th of June?
Around the end of July. I haven't got a date yet.
That's okay. They happen once a month. You will see it on mine. I will share it on mine as well. My Instagram, my Facebook, and in my Facebook pages. But yeah, just give me a message if you can't find Sarah and I'll show you in her direction. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed our little chat with myself and Sarah today. And Sarah, I hope you've enjoyed coming on the podcast.
I was really nerve-sighted to come on today. This is actually my first podcast. So I am just really grateful that you see me in all of my light, Anne-Marie, and support me. And I'm just really grateful for the opportunity today. Thank you.
Oh, no, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so, so much. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep shining your beautiful light on the world. I will be dragging all my friends together for us to have a private session of this. But yeah,
beautiful.
Keep shining your light, Sarah. It's been an absolute pleasure. Take care and thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this show. It's important to note that while I'm here to inspire, encourage and guide you, I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist or a doctor. Join me again in 2 weeks for more captivating revelations on the supernatural. Remember to be in with a chance to have your questions answered on the podcast. Subscribe to my newsletter at annemarielord.com. Stay in the tribe to vibe. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.